Questions. In the style of Gaur Gopal das dropping, light. Humor plus thought provokon e got evangerione. You know. No questions. Tode we liever, a world wäre everione vanstelig got. Six flavless skeen, disle clotus. In Stein clotine. Instagram vorti selfies. Questions. Boot you know what's interesting? We spend hours in front of the mirror. Post questions. Trying to fix the utsida. Boot we hardly spend minutes looking in sida at ur herz, ur mins, ur intention. Questions. And my question is simple. What's the point of polishing the cover when the story in sida is broken? Post questions. And that's where the topic today is. To fix the inzize wieder before each shows on the utsida. The let's diva in. Eins questions. Jur in a vold vritus jur, uta reality have you jeva mezzo meone, vos dresset like $1,000,000. Boot talks like a disaster. Questions. Luxrich speaks trash. Use the quality viewed in a vault your thoughts. You emotions. Questions. Your minset has a way of lacking into your uterliefe, even if you the heat for a wheeler, eventually, it shows. Glühbirne point Nummer 1. Questions. Was sind Sie der allweis fins a way utsida? So fix the roads before you decorate the fruits. Gehirn 2. Questions. Perkis en in side job wel van perke. Boet wäre do weluk for eat. We go to hill stations, yoga retreats, silent camps. Questions. Boet 10 eventere, we carry you mince with us. The resort is calm. The fifis per careful, boot the mint, full of unmund, or unpipe bills, questions, office deadliness, and tat ohne Person wo never replies to your texts, glübene point Nummer 2. You don't find perke, büschein your Lokation, questions. You find perke büschanging your intention. Roters dry, heal, don't heed a veil go truk pine, Phalurops. Rückes. Passion, reaction, questions. Budvat do, we don't heal, we heede, we put on a smile, post a filterate photo, and they, the imfine, questions. I boot remember, we supres tode because umus ur stress tomerov. Glüberne point Nummer 3. You don't have it to be perfect. Questions. You just have it to be real. Healing is messy, but hitting is dangerous. Exploderende Kopf 4. Charakter is built, no honor is when no honor is watching tode. Questions. Every honor wants to appear God. But faith and be God. Wäre more worried about reputation than character. Questions. But reputation is what people think of you. Character is what you actually are. Glübene point Nummer 4. Questions. Don't just impress the world, improve yourself. That's where true transformation begins. Sprechblase mit 3.5. What's the fleck the hecht repreflet people ask me? Questions. Behoeft do ik nog, if so meone is really spiritual. I say, don't look at their brats. Look at their behavior. Questions. Don't just listen to their chants. Listen to their conversations. The way Zomeone speaks reveals wat Tyre full of. Glubenike point nummer 5. Gudeke point nummer 5. Questions. When the heart is full of love, the mood cannot speak hatred. Besen 6. Questions. Clean the mint like you clean your room ve chrome ur homus regularly. Ve vacuum. Ve mop. Ve dust. Questions. Budhof often do ve clean ur mental mess. Old Grurgus. Jealousy. Fea. These are emotionals talt cobwebs trut to your questions. Glübenike point nummer 6. Declare you to mint with the zame passion you declo to you closet. You attract what you are. Questions. Not what you pretend to be, have you noticate. Non fake a smile. You kan fake confidenke. Boot energie never lease. Questions. The people and situations you attract are not based on your clothes or your car. They are based your Weber. Your frequency. Questions. Glübenike point nummer 7. Work on your Weber. Because the energie you give is the energie you recover. Betende Hände acht coast. Questions. Gratitude is the foundation of inner strength terra are to kinds of people. Those wo look at what's missing and fail miserable. Questions. Those wo look at what's already terra and fail magical. Gratitude is no a weakness, it's a superpower. Glüberne point nummer 8. Questions. A grateful heart is a powerful heart. The more you appreciate, the less you'll need to impress. Personim Lotus it's 9. Questions. Fixing the inside dust man buying passive some people think. If. Meditate en bekomme spiritual. Questions. Dus tat me an I should go for goals. Absolutely not. Eats about this. Don't shaze zukes to proveo zomating. Post questions. Shaze to express zomating. Glübidne point nummer 9. Fixing the inside me ans you. Act from peake, not from pressure. 10. Post questions. Be the light you want to say the world does need more influencers. It needs more influencers of light. When you fix yourself, when questions, you unconsciously inspire others. Your herleid heart bekommes someone else's hoppe. Glübene point nummer 10. When you fix the inside questions, the outside becomes a natural reflection of that light. Questions. Let's imagine you say a beautiful tree. Tall, green, blooming with fruits and flowers. You admire it. You take photos. Questions. You even went to sit under it and enjoy the shade. Post questions. But what you say what no vos zesis, the real raison tre is standing strong. The roads. Cost questions. The roads are hidden beneath the surface, but they are the foundation. The deeper and here the roads, the stronger the tree. Questions. If the roads are a veak, no matter if gorgeous the tree looks on the outside, it will eventually wither and fall. Questions. No think of yourself as that tree. Into this world, we are so focused on the fruits, hope we appear. Hof zoekes vol weg. We look. Questions. Hof impressive liefes zem on de zo vakeke taat. Art we forget to sharaku rots. Oer shakte. Oer minset. Oer intentions. Questions. Oer emo. Antri tunal welbang. Boet heres. En de trut. Wat in zide always vindt ave utside. If the roads are bitter. Questions. De fril wil eventually taste zoe. You kunt poison into the roads and expect the fruit to be sweet and in liefer. Questions. It works the zame way. Take are daily liefer exemplar. Imagine zomeone was constantly angry. They may wear brandy clottes. Questions. Drive an expensive car and project a perfect lief on social media. Questions. Booty van is rote pli in zide meibe form unresolute schildhood trauma. A grudge. Post questions. Or a constant state of comparison Anna will show. It will leak into conversations, relationships, post questions. And even they oven in a perke. No matter hof mocht they back nike. I peopler arund tem will fail the tension. Post questions. Their words might be bepoite. But their energy betrays tem. Anno ante exemplar. Leed zij zo meone is insecure. Questions. But they true to hide it bushowing off. They constantly post picurus with captions like the leaving my best liefer. Questions. Ye to blessed to be stressed. Ye all otters gonna harter. Butief tat zelf wat is no fort, is no rotate, geblieben. Questions. Tat insecurity capes shoving up true hoop jealousy, competition, and the constant need for validation. Questions. It's exhausting to keep pretending. Eventually, the emotional cracks begin to show. No flip it. Questions. Tingezomeone vo is deeply content, grundate, and art peake. They may not have the latest fauna or the trendiest clottes. Questions. But when you are tame, you feel calm, you feel hayat, you feel safe. Quester. Post questions. Tats dufrit of zomeone vo has invested in their roads. Tiver donor the inner work, tiver forgiven. Go. Tiver leaven. Go. Questions. Tiver groven truk pine instead of heating from meat. And tats viven if they say little they radiative dom. Questions. Even if they don't show off, they shine. This is wie fixing the inside is not just a spiritual suggestionits, an emotional als null necessity. Questions. We spend money on facials, filters, fashion, fun, fitness, and there is nothing wrong with that. But the question is, questions. Are we spending equal time on forgiveness, self-awareness, empathy, and mindfulness? Because if we the angon deal with the inner inside questions, no amon of mako epihideit. If we don't process us sadness, no new would fit can brighten us for long. Post questions. If we don't address our fear, Zukes will only mark us Norus mora anxios bekauf wel be afraid of losing wat wewe ahivet. Post questions. And this happens in relationships. If you enter a relationship thinking it will fix your loneliness, it may for a short time. Questions. But eventually the loneliness tadlives in zide will show up. You'll become a clingy, jaloux, or overly dependent. Post questions. Because the road was not herleit, was just coverate. The Zama goes for work. Post questions. If you shazakra used to provezo mating into the world to you parents, ex you crititik stay even when you zuket questions. You'll feel empty because the drive come from avundet plaka. But when you go als come from inspiration, not desperation. Questions. You'll feel fulfilled even during the struggle. You say, Liefe is not about decorating the outside to impress others. Questions. It's about cultivating the inside to express your true self. And this is not about buying perfect. It's about buying real. Post questions. Buying honest with yourself. Ask. What's staring me totty tot eva been ignoring? What's triggering me tive tot I haven't here late? Post questions. What's limiting me tot eva akket as normal? When you answer these questions, you begin the journey of fixing the inside. Questions. And once you do, everything outside starts aligning, your words become softer. Your relationships become deeper. Questions. Your energy becomes calmer. People notice not because it try you to impress them, but because your authenticity is magnetic. Post questions. You become the kind of person does niet to say muizenke itself speaks. You smile, and it feels real. You listen. Questions. And people feel heard. You leave, and people feel inspired. That's the power of fixing the inside. Post questions. Because the outside is just a reflection. The roads may be invisible, but they determine everything. Questions. So fix the roads before you, decorate the fruits. That's not just wisdom means freedom. Questions. Vel vent beake. In fact, if you ask anyone today what they truly want, lieve miljoen money, farmer, status, questions, or luxury tile tell you they just van peake of mint. Questions. The interesting part is they often look for peake in all the wrong places. Post questions. They think peake is zomever about Terehon, Aberach in Bali, in the mountains of Manali. Questions. In our 5-star resort with scented candles and calming Sparmusik. We book vacations hoping to escape stress. And yes, questions. The Boach is beautiful. The sunset is magical. The mountains are a zerne. But here is the real problem. Post questions. You carry your mint with you wherever you go. You may change your location, Boot your mint travels with you along, with its noise, host questions, overthinking memories regards, fairs, zantudments, zo even in the most careful places, you mint can be in total shows. Questions. Let's take a simpler example. Imagine you take a trip to a Hillstation because you're feeling overwhelmed with work. Post questions. You reacteer is fresh, bits are heaping, nature is breathtaking. But as soon as you sit, doven to relax. You phone babes, bone babes. Post questions. Our work email. You ignore it. Ten your mint starts thinking, but it forgot to submit that report. What if my colleagues messes it up? Questions. What if my boss gets angry? Suddenly. The thief in front of you fathers, and the thief in ziri de your mint takes over. Tat perke. Tats no perke. Questions. Tats distraction in discourse. Questions. This is what happens when we shaz perke bu shine the scenery. But not the script taught place in ur heads. Host questions. Perke is not in Zielenke utside. Perke is found in Zielenke in Zide. You may Zielenke the world around you. Questions. But unless you Zielenke the within, you'll never feel calm. The ute Zienke will only amplify the inner noise. Questions. Perke is not when life is perfect. Perke is when you rotslen nordensle vet bu the imperfections. We often say things like questions. Du heel perke for wen I get a promotion. Appeal perke for wen I find the right partner. Questions. Post question. Il perke for wen I have enuk money. A good perkist arrivat at the end of your goals. Questions. It's a state of mint you can't cause right now in the middle of your mess. Think of it like this. Questions. A cup of coffee on a rainy day can bring perke to one zone and panic to another. The first owner is zipping its lovely. Questions. Enjoying the rain, smiling softly. The second owner is packing on a room to thinking, ok, the rain will make traffic worse. Questions. I'm going to be later again isame rain. Same coffee. Different minutes. So the real question is, questions. What intention are you bringing into your daily life? If your intention is to rush, compare, prove, impress, perke will never stay. Questions. Because you are chasing approval, not alignment. But if your intention is to be present, to grateful. Post questions. To growth instead of control 10 even in shows, you'll find calm. Let's look at another example from everyday life. Questions. Imagine amo motivo vakes up every morning at 5 am. She has a busy schedule cooking, cleaning, packing lunch, managing kids. Questions. Maybe even going to work. It's stressful. But she starts her day with 10 minutes prayer or meditation. She sits quietly. Questions. Not scrolling through her phone, but centering herself. Tot zijn minutes bekommes her ancor. Her intention is clear. Questions. To respond to the day, not react to it. Nof. The shows is stilterkits fighting. Questions. De adline spieling boot she moves truk, eat with more grake, more strength, more patience. We, because she creëert perke in zide. Questions. This is how intention works. It does eliminate difficulty, but it changes your relationship with difficulty. Questions. The problem is not that we live in a stressful world. The problem is that we live with our mind that is not trained to stay calm. Questions. We trepen la product. We think can be downloaded, pushes is it, or travel to. But perke is not our destination. Questions. It's a direction, it's an intention. And when your intention is perke, everything changes. You walk slow better. You listen better. Post questions. You react. You judge less. You appreciate more. You start noticing the things you once ignored, the beauty of a sunrise. Questions. The comfort of a friend's voice, the stillness between deep breaths. That's persake. Anguous wat. Questions. Dat kind of perke doesn't cost money. It does not plan a ticket. It does not playlist or a perfect sunset. Questions. It just needs a shift in how you show up to your life. So stop viking for perke to come from the outside. Questions. Stop thinking it's heading in the next vacation or the next zukas or the next version of yourself. Questions. Perke is not a matter of geography, it's a matter of clarity. You don't find perke bushang your location. Post questions. You find perke bushang your intention. Start today. Buka Bowser wherever you go, terre you are. Zo make a terre a perke full plake. Questions. In a world obsessed with perfection, where everything must look flawless, filterate, and fabulous. Questions. Buying real has become rarer and buying vulnerable even rarer. Where tot kit togete, it to a stay strong. Post questions. To move on quickly. But the truth is, lieve brevax us in many ways so metimus slodenly, so metimus lovely. And when it does, and slowly questions, we have two koikes, to heal. And more often than not we cause a heeding. We put on a maskant zene, we in fine questions. Even when we're falling apart in Zide. We lauk in front of otters and crew when we're alone. We post picurus to start they questions, to leaving my best liefer. I wille silently whispering to ourselves, we don't mof more I can't. Questions. I this actis pomens bekommes un new normal. But the problem is, wat we hier doesn't disappear. It festes. Imagine. I diene this. Questions. You get a deep cut on your arm. Boot instead of cleaning the wound and letting it heal. Questions. You slap on a beautiful designer bandage and keep it hidden. From the outside, it looks okay. But underneath, post questions. Iets getting was infected, painful dangerous. That's what happens when we cover our emotional wounds with distractions, questions, vaak smiles or busyness, healing only heeding requires courage. It means sitting with the pain, not running from it. Post questions. It means allowing yourself to fail, to groove, to note because you're a werk, because you're a human. Questions. Poet. Healing is straight road. It's messies. Zomer dice you'll fail strong. Otter dice you'll fail like yoke back or square back square at swara on questions. And that's okay. Growth is not linear and neither is healing. Think about a breakup, for example. Questions. So many people jump into another relationship immediately after. Not because they're ready, but because they're scared to be alone. Questions. They think, if I distract myself with my own new, maybe the pain of the last owner will disappear. Questions. About relationships are not band-aids. If you don't heal what hurt you, you'll all blame on people word and could you. Questions. Or talk of the loss of a loved owner. Society gives you a fair 5 weeks, maybe months, to move on. I people stop asking how you're doing. Questions. Life expects you to carry on as if everything's back to normal, but you are not back to normal. A part of you so feels torn, hollow. Questions. And still you smile, go to work, post photos, heeding the storm in Zide, but healing does work on our schedule. It takes time. Questions. It takes space, and most of all it takes honesty. You don't have to be perfect in your healing journey. You just have to be real. Questions. Real about your emotions. Real about your fears. Real about the fact that so many times you are not okay. Post questions. And that's not weakness, that's wisdom. Being real is powerful. When you allow yourself to be seen, to be known in your wrath. Questions. Unfrihet statu, you create a space for true connection. People bond over perfection. They bond over shared struggles. Questions. Over ometo, no look at me. Let's talk about mental health for a moment. So many people suffer in zielenge. Questions. Tyre scary to admit tyre anxio depressate. Or bonate out but because they fear buying you get. But the more we heed teses failings. Questions. The more power they gain, like shadows, they grow bigger in the dark. But the moment you bring them into the light, questions, the healing begins. You don't even need to have all the answers. Use the willingness to say, I need help, I is aber vier questions. Even in friendships we often pretend. We say, perverting's great, even when heert is heavy. Questions. But what if we to be honest instead? What if we seid betode was hard or rim no toto okay, but in truing questions. Tot kind of truth dus gepeupler on ave. Eat Marcus tem eanin. There is beauty in brokenness when you don't true to heed it, to heed eat, post questions. Look at the Epanasa art of Kintsugi, where broken pottery is reparate with gold. Instead of heeding the cracks, post questions, they highlight them because the break becomes part of the story. Iets nooit zo met biasamet of, iets zo meting to honor. Questions. En tats hof emotional scars betoef we alof ourselves to heal not heeder. So the next time liefly verbreaks you heert, Esther, post questions. Remember this. You don't have to fix yourself overnight. You don't have to look okay when you're not questions. And you definitely don't have to impress anyone with you stray honest. Just be realist, be human. Let yourself fail questions. Let yourself rest. Let yourself rebuild slowly. You don't have to chase perfection. You just have to cause authenticity. Questions. Because healing is messy. It might not be pretty. It might not be quick. But it's always worth it. Questions. And heeding may feel safe for our wheeler. But in the long run it becomes our cargo. So take off the mask. Drop the formers. Questions. And give a user mission to be actually where you are perfect, emotional in progress. That's where healing begins. Questions. And from there, everything else starts to grow. Questions. In today's world, we are constantly in the zurundil message bu. Our parafuna tells us to look good, act good, be popular. Questions and impress others. Weiter iets truk de carefully wie kraft heeft im August, post on social media, the brands we wear, the cars we drive. Questions. Or even the people we associate with, teres asilent pressure to appear successful, confident, and flawless on the outside. Questions. But here is the truth most people avoid. Questions. What you look like to the world and wo you are when no one is watching are often two very different things. Questions. There is nothing wrong with wanting to leave a good impression. But when your entire life revolves around only in impressing others. Questions. You end up building a house of glass on the outside, but fragile within. It just take more to shatter it. And 10 questions. Wenn liefert are stormend, it always does dat ute immer gewohnt save you. What will the strength of your character? Post questions. Let's take a simple daily life exemplar. Imagine a student wo Studis just to get got grades, their pines pairs, und or pairs, questions. They memorize the facts, they raise answers, they share the ranks. But they don't turn cara to understand the subject, or apply the knowledge, questions, or grow from the process. Nor if they may impress others with their report card. But the real question is questions. Did they improve themselves in the process? Did they learn resilience, discipline, curiosity? Probably not. Questions. So the moment the pressure increases, be it in collega or in liever they crumble. On the other hand, questions. Takers om will focus on learning. They may not get the top rank every time, but they engage deeply. Growth daily questions. And evolve consistently, taught improvement. Took less flashy. Builds a fundation no owner kan shaka. Questions. Because they weren't just shazing applause, they were building ability. Use impressing others is easy. Where are it? Questions. Speak confidently, crack a joke, act smart, but improving yourself. Takas patience, honesty, and humility. Questions. It means confronting your weaknesses, owning your flaws, and working on things no owner clubs for. But here is the magic. Questions. When you focus on improving yourself, you automatically and you impressing others without even trying. Questions. Think of some most important yuknov. Maybe it's aterha, wo believe in you. Apparent wo sacrifice it silently. Questions. Our French diet when everyone else left. These people may not have had the flassiest levers, but they had depth. Questions. And that's what lasts. Let's talk about character for a moment. Character is where you are when there is no starker spotlight, no spotlight, coast questions. No audience. It's the koikas you mark when one will ever knof. Like returning extra change when akas mas akas Mr. Questions. Quiz. Like speaking kindly even when you're a tirade. Like keeping your promises when it's inconvenient. Questions. Though world never applaud these things. But these are the moments that sharper you questions. There was a story where Janito worked at our university. He was quite humble, barely noticate. On a day, he passed away post questions, and the university held a small tribute. To everyone so surprise, dozens of students came forward to speak about him. Ohne Zeit questions. He always smiled at me when he felt invisible. Not Zeit my exams were going, and so me auf, that kept me going. Questions. You ohne bu ohne, people shared hof this man wo, hat no social status, no flashy titel hat impacted team. No trying to impress. Questions. But simply bu bein genuin and kind. That's what improvement from the inside out looks like. Questions. Eat doesn't demen attention tensionit. Deserves eat. The danger vonly shazing impression. Tan east turns leaf into arguments. Post questions. You and measuring you what bulicus, compliments, and approval. And the moment you stop restriving those things, you feel empty, questions, or unvoti. Lost, but when you shift your force to in focus to improvement, your self-worth becomes solid. Because enough, questions. You're competing with you yesterday's self, not so meone else's highlight rail. So ask yourself honestly questions. Am I trying to impress others or improve myself? Am I dressing to look better or thinking to be better? Am I speaking to be heard? Questions. All understanding too. True transformation begins not when others say pervolve. You when you look in the mirror and say questions. The I'm becoming a better version of me. En is process is deplaisonal. It's slow. It's quiet. No one may motivate feet. The first questions. But over time, the differenke becomes undeniable. Your mind becomes calmer. Your words become kinder. Questions. Your presenke becomes more powerful. Not because you shoot for attention, but because you silently earn respect. Questions. In our world that constantly screams, a look at me, cause it to whisper, been working on me, questions. I don't just impress the world, prove yourself. That's where true transformation begins. Questions. And that's the cooking of change, hard dust, tak must change, you liefer better eater, Marcus, you better art liefer. Questions. Words are powerful. They can't heal or they can't hurt. They can't build zomeone, up or break tem doven. And often, questions. The words we speak reveal what we're carrying inside. Just like water reflects the fire, you speak rechts you hear. Questions. You don't need to dig too deep to know zomeones in a world till you have it. To do is listen. When zomeonix with compassiox who come peace. Grake. Questions. And understanding it's because their heart is full of those qualities. On the other hand, when zomeone constantly critiques questions, gosses or lashes out, oh, it's not just about bad manners, it's a reflection of their pain, their insecurity, or their inner shows. Post questions. Words are never just words. They are echoes of what's inside. Let's take a simple daily life example. Questions. Imagine two coworkers vaker de samen stressful deadline. Ohne of them walks around snapping at everyone, raising their voice. Questions. Blaming others, saying like, but this always happens because no one else did their job. The other remain calm, offers help. Questions. Zeiss, we've got this. Let's focus what we can control. Questions. Enough bot are under pressure boot the way they respond shows wat tyre carrying in zide. Ohne is carrying resentment and stress questions. The author is rotate in patience and support. Their words don't lie, questions. Have ever been around zomeone, wo Marcus you fail pay careful, just bu the way they speak. They don't shoot for attention, post questions. They don't need to dominate our room. Their awards are soft, tukful, so metimus even faith. But they carry warmed questions. That's what happens when the heart is full of love. It naturally overflows into the food the way they speak. Post questions. Their love is ludids present. Contrast start with zomeone wo always finds fault. Even in moments of joy, they know their negative. They bring negativity, questions. If zomeone gets prote, tiles must be office politics. If zomeone shares good news, tai respond with sarcasm or envy, questions. Budagain, this is really about ottet wat are doing hits, about what's happening in the time, questions. Their mood speaks from a pluck of lack. And when the heart is full of bitterness, the mood becomes aswort, questions. Think about social media, questions. Scroll through the comments section on an Y post, even the most harmless honest, and you'll find people pouring out hatred, insults, questions, and negativity. These are not just opinions. These are wounded hearts crying out knowing it, questions. People who are hurting often end up hurting others. Not because a tire, but questions. But because a pine tart isn't herlet eventually becomes person tart gates projected, and unfortunately, it shows fierce in they, it shows fierce in their words, questions. But the opposite is also true. When your heart is full of love truer, unconditional love use, Zim can speak with hatred, questions. Not because you're trying to be unique, but because there is no hatred left to give. Your heart has no space for it, questions. Just like a glass full water can spill it, a heart full of kindness spill cruelty. Take parents, for instance. Once, questions. Even when the schild markers are mistaken, disappoints them, or false most, parents don't respond with the hatred. They may correct questions. They may be firm, but their words still come from love. Because the love in their heart is so strong, it filters the way they speak. Questions. And the shield fails it not just hears it, questions. One of the most beautiful examples of this can be found in how great spiritual leaders speak. Questions. You'll not take it hard, even when they others there's difficult issues. They do so with incredible gentleness. They may point out hard truths, questions, but never with arrogance or cruelty. Because their hearts are full of love. and tad lover govens their tongue. Questions. Their spätest komme from ego, it comes from empathy. But here is the beautiful part. Questions. You don't have to be a monk or a designed to speak like that. Post questions. A very one of us has the ability to klä an nu, heert så dat lover bekommes or lu default language. Questions. Each starts with what we consume, thoughts, or enkes, or environment, if very constantly zurid bunde bu negativity, criticism, crease, questions, and comparison. It's hard to the heart klean, but when we fate mint with gratitude, compassion, and understanding. Questions. Each shanges the way they orders, the way they speak to tame. Even a simpler act like pausing before speaking can change everything. Questions. That pause can help you ask, am I speaking from love or from ego? Am I trying to understand? Questions. Or used to vinden, it had an argument, a moment of awareness can shift your entire energy. Coast questions. And it's knows about how we speak to other seeds, also how we speak to ourselves. If your self-talk is filled with judgment, shame, questions, and harshness, answers eats azing and tart union its healinging. Speak to yourself the way you would to zomeone you love. Questions. Because you deserve a tart love too. In the end we must remember what's leave imprints. Long after conversations are over. Questions. Pay up remember hof we made time fail. And tat failing or starts with what we seid. So late you words accords become a blessing. Questions. Late time lift no push. Late time heal not hurt. Late time reflect the love you've cultivated within. Questions. Because when the heart is full of love, the mood simply cannot speak hatred. And when that becomes your truth. Post questions. You won't need to raise your voice to be heard. Your praise and can't, your words will speak voluminous.